Welcome back to Undercover. We're here with Jade and Adam from AFI.
Hello.
Who are back here for the second time. Now guys, you were playing around for years and years and years and years and years before you actually had your big break. You never got out here before you had your big break. After your first decade of playing, did you start thinking, maybe we won't ever make it? And what made you keep going?
Well, we weren't sort of waiting for the big break. I mean, along the way, we were playing, great shows. And for us, when we first started playing, 100 capacity club was amazing. And going on tour for the first time and playing in front of, 200 people in Des Moines, Iowa. There was always this we always had this sense of success because we always felt like we weren't, that what we were accomplishing was great. So it's not like we were unhappy playing in front of 500 people because we felt we should be playing in front of 5,000. We just kind of kept doing what we were doing, and then
I never thought we'd make it here though, because we had a few trips that were planned out here and they always fell through. So I started thinking there's no way we're gonna make this trip. It's too far, too expensive.
But you always had the fans out here.
Yeah, that was what was terrible about it. Is we knew that there was so many people that were constantly on our message board saying come play in Australia. When are you gonna come to Australia? And there's nothing we could do about it because it's a big undertaking for a small band to come out here. My crotch.
What an odd sound. You're playing, like we were saying before, you're playing far bigger venues this time than what you were playing last time.
Yeah.
You've obviously picked up a lot of fans in the last 2 years or 3 years or whatever. Do some of these younger fans realise how long you've been around for? Do they have your old songs or your old albums?
Anywhere in the world now, the older songs don't go over as well. And there's always people saying play old stuff, and then when we play old stuff, there's 5 people that know it. So, which is nice because we want to play new stuff because the old stuff played for so long. It's more interesting to play a song you haven't played as much. So, it is the newer stuff that gets the better.
So, do you play the old stuff at all?
We do.
Or?
We definitely throw. I mean, you can't ignore that old stuff. So we try to spice it up with some old songs.
But how do you mix it? Because they sound different as well.
It actually works pretty well. You got to choose the right songs. You can't. There's certain ones lyrically and musically that just don't fit. But there's songs, older songs that definitely can fit with any stuff.
So do you build the set based on lyrics?
No.
I mean, a lot of bands would just say this one sounds like this and this sounds like that.
There's some songs that I would like to play, but Davey doesn't want to sing because they're kind of silly now. Things that were written when he was a teenager that don't really apply to where he's at right now as a person. So, in that way, yeah.
That's where you just push him out. Say, sing it anyway. When you went over to a major with Sing the Sorrow, was it tough to go over there? I mean, I imagine being a punk band that had been around for so long, I imagine you would have had a fair few cries of sellout and things like that.
Yeah, that doesn't really exist too much. I mean, I think anyone who pays attention to what we do sort of knows that we do it organically. We do it for the right reasons, and I don't think anyone really thought that it was a sellout move.
By that time, that whole idea of being on a major as being some kind of sellout was starting to die out, and now it's it doesn't matter anymore. Every band's on a major now, and if you move from an indie to a major, it doesn't seem like anyone really cares. It's not an issue anymore. So, it was the right move for us. So we didn't really care, even if everyone had said that.
And punk music has changed over the years too. Or do you even see yourselves as a punk band?
Yeah. I mean, anyone that listens to our last 2 records, or maybe even 3 records, and says you're a punk band, that would be kind of, wouldn't be very accurate.
What about when with Sing the Sorrow, you were going into the studio? I imagine by this point you would have had a fair bit of studio experience under your belt, and you had Butch Vig there and Jerry Finn. What was it like handing control over to them?
We didn't really hand control over to them, and they knew that we had already written the songs, so all they needed to do was bring their expertise to the actual, creating the sound, and we're never going to turn control over to anybody because, like you say, we are experienced in doing what we do, and we don't need someone to kind of mold our sound because it is what it is, So
we usually still changed on that album.
It did, but
Sure.
like I say, those songs were already written before we even talked about producers. So that sound was definitely an organic thing that happened within the band, and not.
We spent a lot of time writing that record, and we had it completely written before we even entered the studio. So I think we spent more time writing that record than we had, any record up to that point. So there was a lot of, varied songs, and we were able to choose the ones we liked the best.
There was a fair bit of electronics on that as well, which Jerry Finn actually told Undercover at the time that you guys did that. That was the band. I just, I know it was presumptuous, but I assumed that it was those guys that did it.
No, actually, Jerry is kind of distrustful of electronic stuff. Like, at the time, I was really into programming and, doing electronic music, so I wanted to bring like an element of that into AFI, thinking, that could be a cool juxtaposition of rock and electronic stuff. And Butch is more into that kind of stuff because of Garbage, They use a lot of kind of loops and stuff like that. But Jerry was always kind of like, I would bring in something electronic and be like, I don't know, like, that's a little crazy. So, yeah, it didn't come from them.
Yeah, so you let the producers butt heads while you guys just stuck to making music.
Well, they actually worked together pretty well. They were nice guys, so they didn't try to step on each other's toes.